Okay, welcome.
Did you post the link on Twitter?
Yes, I did. It's on Twitter. So welcome to the newest edition of Coffee with Dew. And I got my coffee. I had a late start this morning, but I have a fresh brew of Seattle's best.
You want what I got?
What do you got?
This is what I got.
Coke?
Diet Coke.
Okay. Oh my, does that have caffeine in it even?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. Well, so I've been up since I get it usually between 4:30 and 5:30 Eastern time. So it's possible I've been up since before you went to bed.
I go to bed usually early. I usually go to I've been going to the track in the mornings with my brother Danny, who's a trainer. For those of you that don't know, he's at Hawthorne, and I watch the horses train and stuff. And then if you take a day off and you watch TV too late one of those days, and you're used to getting up, you're done. So yeah, you got to hit this. I got to hit the sack a little earlier.
Yeah,
on the off days.
I go to bed early and I get up early.
I typically do, but today was an exception. Anyway, we discussed. You discussed that you liked a few plays. Coffee with Dew is not a set show where we're going to do it on Sunday or Saturday. It's Thursday. Right. So we have a Thursday edition.
We can also, I feel like you and I are, since we're of similar mindset politically and socially and all that, we could probably use some of this time to talk politics. But here's the thing. I don't know if our audience cares about current events or politics or, geopolitical events. I have no idea. Maybe they don't care.
It's 2024. It's a big year for politics.
I know.
Maybe somebody would like to hear our opinion.
It's also not even about politics, really. It's just, I think we're
beyond politics.
Yeah.
I'm more to the social issues.
We're approaching a time of, I think, an unprecedented time in America's history. And I think our country and maybe even our world is on the verge of major change. And I think that is at the root of what's happening in politics and in current events and so forth. So I don't know. Maybe after we talk horses, we can talk politics. People can just drop off if they don't want to hear it,
Listen, everybody likes to hear what we have to say.
I don't know. Sometimes my wife doesn't like to hear what I was. Sometimes she doesn't
just throw her a couple bucks and
yeah,
she'll be happy at the mall, right?
or the beauty salon, whatever.
Yeah.
So here's a couple things. There's no Santa Anita, no turf racing in California right now. Gulfstream is off the turf until July. I don't know if that's because of the weather or just it was a planned break for the turf course. I don't really know. So day to day, I have fewer options for turf racing and specifically turf routes. Although Horseshoe Indy races today, which I don't know if they race every Thursday or not because I don't follow that circuit religiously.
I see they have racing today.
Yeah, but the one play that I found. There's a lot of potential for disappointment in this race. It's Churchill Downs race 4 today, which, by the way, their first post is not until 5 p.m.
That's okay.
So this race goes off at 6:27 p.m. Eastern time. And there is a horse in this race that I have to think the morning line is just a grotesque error. Of course, we're pre-scratches because the first post there, as I said, is 5. So we're 7 hours until the first post. So we're not going to get scratches for quite a while. We're not even going to get early scratches for quite a while, I don't think. Although sometimes they come out at 10 a.m. So what I am going to do is just very quickly check Kevin Kirstein's Twitter feed.
Good idea.
To see if he's released anything, and no, he has not. He's usually the first. So I don't see anything in the way of scratches or early scratch or anything like that. So we'll just take it as it comes. And if these horses end up scratching, we'll address it. But in race 4, minus 16th on the turf. Non-winners won other than allowance with a purse of a juicy $127,000. Number 7, Degree of Risk, is 8-1 on the morning line. Tyler Gaffleone, Owen Hardy. This is, I believe, the first time Gaffleone has ridden this horse. Yes, it is. Takes over for whoever that jockey was at Indiana Grand. So I bet this horse in his last start. I've actually played a cold exacta with Degree of Risk over Otego. And if you watch the replay of that race, I think you'll see why I was super frustrated. Here's my take on this horse. As you'll see from the Beyer speed figures, which Beyer speed figures are not always my thing. I do notice them. I pay attention to them, but I don't. My bets don't live or die based on what the Beyer speed figures say. But at a quick glance, it's pretty apparent that this horse, at least according to Andrew Beyer, has run some fast races. And what is more, the horses that Degree of Risk has been facing throughout his career are significantly better than the horses that Degree of Risk will face today.
Well, I see one already, Exalted.
Yeah, and Otego, for instance, would be even money against this field. And I think Degree of Risk was every bit as good as Otego in their last race. The pace in here, I don't think, is likely to be really all that fast. And since Degree of Risk is traditionally a closer, you might say that that's going to hurt his chances today. But sometimes in these turf routes, when you have a closer that has ability, they can, in a more moderate pace, they can sometimes stay a little bit closer, not lose contact with the field, and that enables them to, make their late run from a little bit of a more advantageous position. At a mile and 16th at Churchill on the turf, you've got a little bit more time to that clubhouse turn, so I think Gaffleone can probably try to find a way to avoid being hung out wide. So I think we're going to get a decent trip. I think we'll be not too far off of the pace. The unfortunate thing is I think there is a 0% chance we're going to get 8-1. And again, this is pre-scratches, so you could see some scratches that affect the price. In addition to, I think, what is not a great morning line. Well, another thing I'll add is that if you look at the DRF handicappers, none of them pick Degree of Risk in their top 3, which was very surprising. I was sure that some of them, at least someone, would have the horse on top.
Oh, wow.
Not only does no one have the horse on top, no one even has the horse in their top 3. And that might indicate that the morning line is not that foolish. Although I did talk to our good friend Frank Bastari this morning, who thinks that we'll be lucky to get 4-1 on this horse, and
really,
probably 3-1 or lower is more likely.
Well, Frank does his own figures there.
Yeah,
and the Sharpies maybe will be on it, but the public, Churchill gets a lot of handle, right?
Well, anybody who watched the replay of this horse's last start, are you able to pull it up and put it on the screen quickly? We can watch the Indiana Grand replay.
100%. We could easily just.
It's the
last race.
The last race, the May 23rd race from Indiana Grand. We are the 7 horse in the Godolphin Blue.
36 feet. This is the final leg of the horseshoe hat trick.
And you had an exacta over Ortega on this.
Yeah, I had a 7-8 exacta, and the race ends up coming 8-7.
Oh my God, I see it, and it lost by a freaking neck.
The 8 is your eventual winner.
The Dolphin Blue, I see you.
Toward the inside, Faith Runner.
So
No Joe, Cavestraminer with Otago. And on the outside is Caballo Feliz as they make their way toward the first turn with Benny Esquivel.
All right, you're saving ground back there.
Yeah, we're in a good position, but as you can see, we're already kind of losing contact.
Out in front nicely
and I'll be honest, if this happens today,
Otago in the black
we may have a problem.
Running in 4th.
The rails are really out that day too, so that
is 6th and 3 wide out
really
to the
help
stretch. Pool guy looks for position in the black silks. Then to the inside is Degree of Risk, who's saving ground there for Joseph Belmer in the Godolphin Blue.
And saving ground kind of
Burgos
The eventual winner you can see is wide out there.
Making his
So
stretch run toward the half-mile pole. It's
maybe I was wrong when I said that Degree of Risk was best, but you're going to see the way that this horse finishes, and you'll see why I was so frustrated.
In fourth and 4 lengths off this leader.
I mean, so far, a really nice trip for Degree of Risk.
Making inroads toward the
Saving ground, you're back there. You still have to weave through traffic, and I can already tell what's going to happen.
Degree of Risk and wide pool guy trails. The half mile for the front runner. Caballo Fellini's at 21.
So right here, I was actually, because I had a win bet on Degree of Risk also in addition to the exacta. And I loved my chances here because I saw Otego, who was clearly the horse to beat. You can see 6-5 favorite. I've been wide the whole way.
Yeah, I could see you winding up here.
Yeah, and right here, I'm like, I'm loaded and I've got nowhere to go.
They straighten away 3/4.
Oh, yeah, you're just standing up.
Still haven't uncorked the rally yet.
Wow, when's he going to ask?
Yeah.
Okay.
He finally gets clear.
Now there's the crack. I mean, wow. I mean, it's almost like
Otego with yards to go, and Otego is safe at home.
I think the jock got too complacent.
Yeah, he didn't get aggressive enough around that turn to kind of plan for it. I mean, look at the gallop out.
Yeah, I mean, Jesus, what was that?
I mean, he probably came home the final 16th in 5 seconds, I would think. I mean, that
what
was
in God's name? Look at this. Now, who was riding that day?
somebody I never heard of.
Standing up in the stirrups on the rail, saving ground. Hey, the race is going to end here in the 16th or an 8th or whatever. What are you doing? Crack on the ass. Here we go. Race is over, though. Wow, Justin, I'd be furious. You had a straight 7-8. Oh.
Yeah.
Huh.
And I had win money at juicy 5-1. And I bet Otego before. Of course, won at Tampa at like 13-1.
That is a frustrating thing to see. Imagine that was just a random wager you made. Imagine being in a tournament, a cash game, having a large straight exact and a huge win bet on this horse with that ride. So,
I think
man, you said it was a guy you've never heard of. It's Joseph Belmer from Oaklawn, who is a bug.
Okay.
And he likes to save ground on the rail. His favorite jockey, I talked to him numerous times. He said his favorite jockey that he grew up with or watching was Calvin Burrell, and he wanted to mirror his riding style with him. But he rode way too complacent there on that ride. I mean, I have to admit it.
Yeah, and there was some traffic, and he did a great job saving ground and staying. Look, I like it when jockeys stay on the rail and don't get off the rail until they have to. So anyway, I can't imagine anybody who watched that replay is going to let this horse go off at 8-1. My gut tells me, and I hope I'm wrong, but I think the 7's going to be favored. So can you scroll upwards to the 2 and the 3 horse?
Sure.
Please. You can probably get them both in the same screen, I would think. Yeah.
Yeah, I can get them kind of like.
So,
yeah.
We see these two are both prices on the morning line. The 2's name, I can't see the 2's name.
Yeah, the 2 is
Stroke of Midnight. So Stroke of Midnight, I don't think has the same class, certainly that Degree of Risk has. And, I wouldn't pick this horse on top, but I think if the horse is ready to run off a layoff, there's a chance that he could close into the pace. Did finish second at this level, at this track, at this distance back in November, albeit at a huge number, and then came back in the next start at Turfway and didn't run a step. Has run really badly in 2 races on synthetic, so maybe you draw a line through that.
Right.
Again, I'm not. If I'm looking for a horse underneath, this one is a little interesting. And then the 3 Berrettini, if you can scroll up a little bit so we can get all the past performances for the 3, came back last time under Leparoux and was kind of dueling on the outside and then opened up a little bit down the backstretch, and they just kind of couldn't hang late. But has also run well. in a prior start here at Churchill, and then beat more than half the field in a maiden special weight at Keeneland. Started the career beating 2/3 of the field in a maiden special weight at Kentucky Downs. Always a tough place. Second off a layoff for Leparoux. I don't know that I think this horse will be on the lead this time, but I think it's an interesting horse. I don't think this is a very strong field. So I tried to find a couple underneath horses that would be prices that maybe had some upside. And I think the 2 and the 3 are where I landed. So this is how I'm going to play the race. I'm going to play degree of risk to win at 3-1 or better. And if I have, the higher the odds go, the more I'm going to play. To where if we get say 5 or 6-1, I'm probably going to make a big bet. If it's more like 7-2, 4-1, I'll probably just make not an action bet, but a smaller win bet, and then I'll lean on the exactas over the 2 and the 3, which could mean, look, we might get degree of risk at 5-2, and then I have to play just the exactas, and I miss because I'm going with 2 price horses. But like West Hollywood, the 10, Brad Cox.
Yeah, I see that one.
That's not a great post. I mean, that was an impressive.
No, it's not, and we kind of need that one in here. We need a little bit of pace injected.
And that horse won with the Trip of Death on debut at 1 1/8. I mean, that was not debut, North American debut. And then if some of the also eligibles, those are main track only. They're not.
Yeah, the 12's going to get in, right? The 11 is
so that's main
main
track only. Are they? And for me, no, the 11 are the 11 and 12 main track only.
I think just the 11.
No, I don't think so, because I think they say the horse's name.
Shouldn't main track only be above the horse's name?
Well, this is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna look at the classic past performances, and if I print them,
double check that. I wanted to touch back on your 2 horses underneath. Stroke of Midnight.
The 11 and 12. The 11 and 12 are both main track only.
The 12 is as well.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I learned something new looking at the formulator for I don't know how many years have I had this. Okay, so both of those are out. Anyway, I wanted to get back to your horses underneath. Stroke of Midnight, if you throw out the Kentucky Downs race and you touched on the 2 synthetic races, those other races are pretty good. And the 3 is second off of a long layoff after the 4-year-old debut, right. Second time out. And it's cutting back from 9 panels. It's hard to win at 9 panels right off the long shelf.
Especially when you kind of run that quirky race. I mean, it was kind of dueling early and then opened up and then just kind of packed it in. And then at least one horse I know came out of there and won, that Apollo Rising.
Yeah, I see that. I see that. Yeah.
Its next start.
I'd like to see what that one looks like just for shits and giggles.
It won a dirt race.
It won a dirt race, got an 80, but it ran a good number. Yeah, it's a consistent horse. It hits the board a lot, and it won. So it's a nice horse. Yeah.
And then the 10 wide post. Although, listen, that horse is obviously a serious racehorse. So there's no doubt about that.
Yes, but you're facing winners now, and I'm against a lot of that. Unless you're, it could be a 3-1. I don't want it. No, and with that post, I don't want it, even though it did win before. And then the 9, I think, is obviously live. Sherry DeVoe is always live. She's just been red piping hot. The 9 is a serious racehorse, no question. The 5 on it.
Yeah, the 5 won a Kentucky Downs race.
But Kentucky Downs, you know how that is. You either love it or you hate it.
Yeah.
It wins there. It hasn't won anywhere else. I'm sure they're looking towards the condition book for September.
The 4 has run well at this distance against perfectly honest company. I just think there's a little less upside with the 4.
The 4 doesn't scare me. 4 is going to plot around, maybe clunk up, possibly.
I also think the 1 is a contender. So if I decide to play a try here,
the 1's interesting. I'll give you that. It's Ian Wilkes. Ian Wilkes needs a few starts to get going off the layoff. 3rd time off, he's much better usually. Although look at his dirt to turf record, 0 for 40 the last 2 years.
I would probably, if I was going to play a try, I would probably play and this is getting a little bit too deep, but in addition to the 2 and the 3, probably the 1 and the 5 would be the horses that I added. Maybe, I don't know. I'm not sure how I'd construct a ticket. I might play 7 over the 2, 3 over the 1, 2, 3, 5. Might be the play.
So everybody out there can, mix and match. We love the 7. Degree of risk. We touched on it. The replay was kind of an eye opener for me, and the fact that nobody picks the horse. You got Kenny Peck, you got Sweep, you got Marcus Hirsch. I'm shocked they didn't at least pick the animal to finish 3rd. That's good for us. That's good for us, and we're going to key that one. Doubles. We're going to do exactas. We're going to do trifectas. We're going to have win bets. We touched on the 2 and the 3. If any of you guys want to throw something else in there, fine. Justin, do we have anything else to touch on today?
I mean, we could talk about what we think is going to happen in the election.
Okay, so this is our play of the day. We'll stick with this.
Yeah.
All right. I'd like to talk about a cryptocurrency I'm a part of.
All right. You want to start with that?
Yeah, I'm part of a project. It's called MAGA meme coin on Solana. And it's basically a project that it's a cryptocurrency. Solana is a cryptocurrency.
Mm-hmm.
It's built on the Solana network. And we actually have a Politify fighting game that is coming out. And basically Politify, it's basically a Street Fighter / Mortal Kombat style game.
Okay.
You get tokens for playing it. Some of the tokens can go to charity, possibly towards a campaign, but there's some rules on that we're still trying to iron out. We're talking to a few congressmen about it. If people want to find out more about it, just go to my Twitter, and I have the website right on there. So
is this a coin that people can buy today?
Yeah, they can buy it right now. It's super cheap. There's only 47 million coins. The market cap's like 200,000, which is low. And it's sitting at about 0.3 of 1 penny right now. But with the coin supply, it wouldn't take much to get the market cap up and the price up rather quickly. There's a similar token on the Ethereum network called just Trump that is like $10 with the same coin supply. So you can imagine if you put in $500, it could be potentially worth tens of thousands.
I think I understand the concept of Bitcoin. The idea is that
that's open source. There's nobody that owns Bitcoin. It's run by miners, and they're rewarded for keeping the network going. This is actually a CTO, community takeover. And that just means that the original dev of the project locked the liquidity, left the project, took all his money out and left. So we as a community took the project over, started new socials, paid Epic Games for a gaming trailer, and it's going to be good quality. It's going to be your 90s style looking video game, but it's going to be fun. It's going to have Trump coming out with a golf club fighting Joe Biden with a briefcase. You're going to have conservative and Democrat characters. We're going to have up to 8 people to start with, and we'll add characters as we go. So if you're a Biden supporter, you could beat the crap out of Trump, and if you're a Trump supporter, you could beat the crap out of Joe Biden.
And then what do you do with these coins that you win?
Well, the coins are your coins that you could buy. There's also going to be NFTs involved with it that you can unlock for other things, but the coins, you could basically gamble. You could put your coins up against other people.
Mm-hmm.
You could fight the guy. If you win, you get the coins. You could put up $5 in MAGA coins. And then a certain percentage of that will go towards the charity wallet. which we will give to, I don't know, Shriners Children's Hospital or Make-A-Wish, whatever, you know.
Okay.
But yeah, my Twitter page at Steve Simonovich. You guys can go there. I'll scroll the Twitter page on the bottom there. And right on my Twitter, you can see the address that I highlighted there, the web address to go to the coin site.
So what's your prediction on what's going to happen in the election in November? And right now, I think there's still quite a bit that's up in the air. There's been a lot of talk about, Biden may not be the nominee. Maybe they'll replace Kamala Harris. What's going to happen?
Listen, this debate that's coming up, I think the Democrats made the wrong calculation on it. I think they thought that Trump was going to back out. There's a lot of restrictions on this. You can't have handheld notes. You cannot have. There's going to be a mute button involved with this debate. Some other restrictions. You cannot meet with team members in between commercial breaks. And I think they expected Trump to not agree to it. Plus, it's on CNN. But Trump agreed to it, and I think the Democrats weren't ready for that. The debate's next week, I believe on Thursday, a week from today. And I just, you see Joe, listen, whether you're a Republican or a Democrat, it's borderline elder abuse to have the handlers put Joe Biden out there. He's not a well man. I'm just looking at it as a humane portion, of my soul, my living soul here. He should not be running for president. I think as a conservative, I want him to run because I think he's very beatable. But the other side of me is saying, it's kind of cruel. And I think the Democrats are just, I think there's some infighting. I think they want him out. I still don't believe that he's going to, there's going to be an October surprise. That's where I'm getting at. I think he's going to be whisked away. Something's going to happen. There's even rumors of body doubles and masks and stuff. I don't know if I totally believe all that. I think he's just deteriorating. And he just has changed so much physically. He just looks a lot different now than he did even when he debated Paul Ryan. If you remember in 2012 when he debated Paul Ryan, and Paul Ryan's from Wisconsin. I've met him several times. I've taken a picture with him, whatever. But Joe Biden whipped his ass in that one and only vice president debate. If you go back and watch it. Paul Ryan was lost, and Joe Biden was pretty good in that debate and beat him. I admit it. That same Joe Biden is not the Joe Biden we have now.
Yeah,
So,
I have a couple thoughts. My main opinion is I don't think that Donald Trump will ever serve as president again. Now that doesn't mean he won't win the election. It doesn't mean, wait
a minute. If he wins, he's not going to serve as president?
I don't think he's ever going to serve as president again.
Okay.
What do I really think is probably likely to happen? I think the election will be stolen / rigged. I think the 2020 election was possibly legally stolen by the Democrats, possibly illegally stolen, but it was stolen. I don't think there's any way Joe Biden got as many legitimate votes as people think he did. I think there's no chance of that.
81 million votes. I think it was 13 million more than Barack Obama.
That's just completely unbelievable.
I don't buy that.
Yeah.
And the harvested ballots, you're seen as kind of a boogeyman if you bring this up, a conspiracy theorist, but there's a lot of irregularities out there. People in Wisconsin, there's been voter fraud. Some Democrats got convicted.
Yeah. And there's literal videotape of people, Democratic operatives taking hands full of ballots and shoving them into ballot return boxes. So I just, I don't know exactly how it happened or how it went down, but I think the 2020 election was not completely legitimate. The Democrats may have stolen it fair and square, to steal a saying that I heard a long time ago. And I think something similar will happen this time. I think, you know, like let's just to put in perspective what I think Donald Trump and nationalists like myself are up against. When the Hunter Biden laptop first became part of the news, you had something like 50 former U.S. government senior intelligence officials come out with a statement saying this is Russian disinformation, and it wasn't. It was 100% real. Okay, so there are forces that Donald Trump is up against, forces that we're all up against, that I just don't think are going to lose. They're too big, they're too powerful, they're too strong, and I don't think things are happening on the up and up. And I think elected officials on both sides of the aisle are sort of part of the same uniparty. And I think our country is going in a direction that a lot of Americans would never vote for. And that's why it's happening. I mean, we have open borders. And, you know, there are how many millions of people have streamed into this country. You know that some of them will some way or another be allowed to vote. We know that they're benefiting from our tax dollars. They're getting free benefits. And I think in some cases they're getting like $10,000 debit cards. I mean, powerful people.
Well, it's even beyond that, Justin. There's been murders. The mother of 5 the other day that got killed, and it happens a lot.
Yeah.
And the fentanyl epidemic.
It's happening for a reason. What that exact reason is, I don't entirely know all the ins and outs, but our country is changing. There are powerful people that want it to change in a certain direction, and Donald Trump is a threat to that change. So I don't believe he's going to be allowed to take office. Who knows? Maybe he'll be incarcerated. I'm not entirely up to speed on the legal process, the criminal.
Well, July 11th, he's what is that, arraigned or not arraigned? What's the word? What's going on July 11th?
I don't know, because sadly I've sort of stopped paying attention to all the little minutia.
Okay.
And because I don't think it really matters. So this is, you and I have talked about this. This is what I have done with my life and my family's life. We sold our house, a house that we had made quite a bit of money on. We bought another house cash so that we have no mortgage. I have amassed some, let's just say we'll call them emergency supplies and emergency currency. I don't want to take too much more than that. I don't know who's watching this, but if the shit hits the fan, I've got food and water for a considerable period of time. I've got guns and ammunition for a considerable period of time. I've got, let's just say, things that I can spend that are very well hidden in this house. If the banking system fails and if cash is no longer worth anything, do I really think that's all going to be necessary? Not really. I hope not, and it's probably not going to be.
Buy some Bitcoin.
Well, because how are you going to if the electrical grid?
I know that's the one thing that is the big question mark.
Right.
Is the electrical grid going to go down? But that's in the United States. The electrical grid across the world won't go down. You can.
Well, we don't know that.
The whole world? That would be like. How would that happen? That would be. Because everything's not interconnected all the way around.
Well, but listen, and look, we don't know that for sure. We don't know what we don't know. We know enough to know. We don't know what's going on.
Well, I think we should start this. Have you ever discussed dual citizenship? Because I have family in Montenegro.
I've never discussed it. Yeah.
And I've discussed having dual citizenship in Montenegro, which is a beautiful country, by the way.
I've heard the place you want to go. The two countries that have popped up in conversations I've had are Portugal and Costa Rica.
Costa Rica is really nice. I have a friend that is from there, and my dad was thinking about going down there for I think some dental work, because it's like half the price or something like that.
Yeah, and I don't know. I'm not sure how I feel about going outside the United States, but that's the other thing we could talk about is the medical field and how broken it is in this country. I mean, I as you know, I've been in the hospital a number of times in the last 2 years for 2 different health issues, which I'm on top of, and I think everything's fine. By the way, and you know this, I'm not sure if the whole world knows it, but I had a stroke in November, which was diagnosed in December. Never had any physical effects, but I'm down 25. I'm down 25 pounds since you saw me at the NHC.
Nice job. That's good.
Trying to get the cholesterol right, trying to get a number of things right. But anyway, the healthcare system is broken, and it's just one of many things that make America not. You and I are the same age.
Don't even get me started on the healthcare system. What they did to my mother,
Yeah.
you know, who passed away. What they did to my uncle who had COVID. We couldn't get. They wouldn't let us in to see him. They wouldn't let. Everything was a big lie back then. I was the one with Joe Rogan and others, but I was one of the very first people on our text chain talking about ivermectin. Now everybody loves ivermectin. Back then, they thought you were some kind of a crackpot if you talked about ivermectin. I know microbiologists that laugh. They work at Abbott Labs. They laugh at the masks because the coronavirus is less than 0.05 microns in size. It's like they told me it's like throwing gravel through a chain link fence. And they laugh at the masks. I saw somebody the other day driving in their car. You've seen it, maybe, with a mask on. Just yesterday. And they put you on a ventilator. The hospitals were getting, again, these numbers are skewed or different every time I hear it, but 13,000 if they put you on a vent, 39 grand if you died. That's what the hospitals were getting.
Yeah.
And we try to get in there, administer some ivermectin to my uncle, this and that. Long story short, my two brothers had to they called the police and they arrested my two brothers, and my uncle almost died. Our health
Which brothers got arrested?
I think it was Marco. Well, they didn't get arrested. They got removed. So it was Mark and Danny, I think.
Yeah.
But my uncle, he was in a coma he was one of the 1%ers that lived on the vent. He was in a coma for 90 days. He had terrible bed sores. They wouldn't even rotate his body. He had like third-degree bed sores, like terrible. Oh, the photos are just. But
he made it. He survived.
He survived, but he struggles. He owns Rocky's Corner, and he can't go in there as often as he would like. But
look, this is my suggestion to people. And this is preparing for worst case scenario. You're probably never going to need any of this, but it's better to have it and not need it than to catch yourself flat-footed.
Right.
So if you go online and search for emergency food bucket, Costco sells them online. They deliver it right to your house. They're not cheap. Look up your prices, but you can get a bucket that's about a 12-day supply for one person for about $125 delivered to your house. Prices may vary. You can also get them for 15 days. You can get different kinds of food in there and stuff. But I've got enough. So I got for 5 people, me, my wife, my 2 kids, and my stepson, who's actually about to go off to college. I got enough food for a month. I got enough water for a month. This is your typical silver dollar, U.S. currency released by the U.S. Mint. It's a $1 coin, but of course you'd never spend it. They're worth about $30-35 a piece. And it's better than buying gold because you can't, if you need to get a loaf of bread and some water for your family or food for a week, you can't spend a gold coin that's worth thousands of dollars. So I recommend silver and silver bars. You can get a silver bar for silver trades for about $30 an ounce right now. Gold is $2,300 and change an ounce. So I think if cash ends up being useless, better to have something that's worth something. So buy some silver, keep some cash on hand just in case. Low denomination, nothing bigger than a 20. Plenty of bottled water. I got these pills that I ordered off of Amazon. They're I forget what they're called, but they're water. So you can take basically 4 gallons of water from your swimming pool, for instance, or from the creek, or just rainwater, You drop one of these tablets in there, 30 minutes later, all the bacteria is dead and the water is safe to drink. You should read about it before you buy it. Pick the one that's right for you. Have plenty of batteries, have a battery-powered radio. Just in case, man, some shit goes.
No, you're right. My brother Marco is big into all that. He's got some land too, and there's deer running around there. You know, they know how to shoot them, skin them, eat them. He's got corn plant. I don't know. He's got all kinds of ideas, and he just dug a well out over there.
Do I think that we're actually going to need all that? No, I don't. But
peace of mind.
Right. Because, you know, how are you going to take care of your family if, you know, let's just say that there's some kind of military, like let's say Trump wins and, you know, the powerful forces that let COVID do what it did, the people that are letting the borders be open, the people that are really calling the shots here, you know, if they're not going to stop just because Trump wins the election. You know, they're not going to just let him take control and undo all the things they've been trying to do. And here's the thing that I said this to a buddy of mine within the last month. You know, it's possible that what we see as the evil forces that are, you know, trying to effectively tear down what America has been for our lifetime and build something different, they might be doing it for the right reasons. You know, we've got artificial intelligence that's basically already here. You've got quantum computers. If you don't know about them, look that up.
They're going to unlock all your passwords. Elon Musk is really afraid of AI and the advancements.
And he should be, because, you know, we're approaching a time where American corporations don't need to employ people anymore. Now, I'm not saying everyone's going to be out of work, but we're letting in millions of people into this country, low-skilled laborers, into this country at a time when workers are becoming less and less and less necessary, and technology is only going to get better from here. I mean, the internet's only been around since the late 90s as we see it. Think of the advances that have taken place just in the last 5 to 10 years.
Right.
That speed, the speed at which technology improves, it's going to get faster and faster and faster. So in 5 years from now, 10 years from now, what's the world going to look like? What's going to be possible? You know, you know, I can already get on my phone on Amazon, order something, it's delivered to my front door at no additional cost, sometimes in like a couple of hours. You know, what's it going to be like in 5 years from now? And I think all of those technological advances mean bad things for the American worker. You know, we're always going to need plumbers. But how far away are we from, you have a plumbing problem or an HVAC problem in your house, and it's a robot that shows up to your house and fixes your plumbing in 5 minutes? I mean, I don't think.
Well, you know, that's probably a little ways off, but
I mean, really,
but maybe not. But I would think a human would have to, at least right now, would have to at least kickstart that thing, bring the robot to the house at the very least, and maybe set it up at the very least, some type of technician.
Yeah, I hope you're right. But I just think, put it this way, I think this is not the right time to be letting millions of people into this country. And the fact that very powerful forces are making sure that there's an endless stream of unskilled illegal immigrants pouring in here, to me, that's not a great.
Yeah, and by the way, we're not talking about Hispanics or Mexicans.
No, it's got nothing to do with that.
It has not. We have people from the Middle East. We have Chinese nationals. We have people from
India. On the terror watch list.
They've apprehended a lot of people from ISIS that have come across the drug. The fentanyl is made in China. The cartels in Mexico are working with China, and they're bringing it through. And then we haven't even, you know, a really good film to watch was Sound of Freedom, and that's another thing, the sex trafficking. But again, that was another politicized film. It's just about true events. And just because it doesn't fit a narrative, people kind of poo-pooed it. It was being kept out of theaters last year.
By the way, how many viewers do we have right now?
Right now we only have 3, but
are we 2 of them?
I don't know how that registers. I know it doesn't register us on there.
How many do we have when we were talking about horses? Did we break 10?
It was up there. Yeah.
Well,
but that's listen. We always talk about horses. Coffee with Dew could be horses and politics.
Yeah.
We could talk about horses for 20 minutes, and we could talk about politics for 20 minutes.
that reminds me, I got to get to my day job here. Believe it or not, I'm not a professional horse player yet.
I like this play, though. I like this play.
Yeah.
And for those of you that got in late, we do like
Degree of risk. The fourth race at Churchill Downs, number 7, degree of risk. And if the odds board drops too low, play it in an exacta over the 2 and the 3.
Yes, I'm playing it.
I am too, brother.
All right, a win bet. Hey, Justin, good conversation. Everybody check out my Twitter page if you want to look into that MAGA coin. And then definitely play this play, and we'll see you again on the next edition of Coffee with Dew. And I'm gonna get some Turkish coffee next time I come on.
I'm gonna make T-shirts that when I finally make Lone Speed merchandise, we'll have Coffee with Dew as one of them.
I love it. I'm still waiting for my visor. I need a visor.
I'm making them. I'll see you later, brother.
All right. Have a good one, everybody.